What is happening? If you live with anxiety or a phobia, you understand just how derailing these things can be. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about a form of therapy that has been proven 80 to 90% successful in most cases. So if this sounds like you, or if you know anybody that is going through this, stay tuned because we're going to change your life. Now, if you're living with any type of anxiety or any type of phobia, leave a comment below and let me know because I want to reach the people that are also going through this with me. Raise your hand if anxiety or a phobia has prevented you from leaving the comfort of your own home. It's prevented you from living a normal life, or in general, it's just made you feel like you're losing your mind. Now, I think we can agree on the fact that if something is causing you to feel like you're losing your mind, preventing you from going out and doing things, or preventing you from living that normal life, that's a problem. Now, what exposure therapy is essentially desensitizing your mind to the very things that are causing you to feel that phobia or that anxiety. And how you're going to do that is to willingly, keyword, willingly expose yourself to these things to let your mind know that you're safe. Now, I mentioned the keyword willingly because many of us have tried exposure therapy and we're like, it didn't stick. But why the word willingly is so important is because when we willingly expose ourselves to the things that are giving us our panic or our phobia, is what we're doing is we're training the mind to know we are safe during those moments. When we just count down the seconds, the minutes until we're able to get back under the covers in our own home, what we're doing is letting our brain know that we're not safe until we leave this moment. Remember, when we willingly expose ourselves to the things that are causing these elevated states of fear, anxiety, phobia, then we can understand that we are safe. Train our mind to know we are safe when these things are happening or when we're in these places. And if you've read the book Untangling Your Anxiety by Joshua Fletcher and Dean Stott, they often refer to this as white knuckling, as if like when you're going into the situation, you're white knuckling it because you are just waiting to get out and you don't want to be there. Now, let's touch on the two types of exposure therapy: graded exposure therapy and flooded exposure therapy. Graded exposure therapy essentially means you're working your way up until you're able to tackle the main boss of the level. Now, your main boss of the level may be going into a crowded grocery store, going into a mall where everyone's walking around, so many stores, so much overstimulation, right? Now, graded exposure therapy is simple. You just gradually build up the amount of time you're able to stay in the very situation or the very thing that makes this anxiety and phobia reach peak levels. This is almost the polar opposite of our next form of the exposure therapy, and that is flooded. What flooded exposure therapy is essentially jumping off the diving board, yelling cannonball, and going straight in. So on a scale of 1 to 10, graded goes from a 0 to a 1 to a 2 to a 4, those type of things. Where flooded is you go from a 0 to an 8, 9, or 10, like that. Where you may have been walking around the mall 5 minutes at a time and allowing yourself to leave during the graded exposure therapy, flooded is you're going in for an hour into a store and you're causing that panic or inviting that phobia in and then letting yourself know, I'm not leaving, I'm getting through this. And remember, keep this in mind, scientifically, both of these, flooded and graded, have been deemed equally as effective in studies. Now, if you've had like an aha moment about exposure therapy, remember, subscribe and like this video, not only to help me out, but help out other people who are going through similar things so they're able to see the video as well. Disclaimer time. Remember, it is always recommended to talk to a therapist or counselor or someone clinically trained in exposure therapy to help find what best works and what is best suited for you. So if you're somebody living with generalized anxiety disorder, agoraphobia, social anxiety, PTSD, OCD, or any type of phobia, exposure therapy is a great resource to help get you over the hump and get you to the next level of your healing. And if you have more questions on those types of anxiety disorders and phobias, I'm going to link a description to a video I actually made about them to help you out. And I actually put a couple of links in there for books that have changed my life as well. So remember to check out these links if you're looking for a little bit more help. I'm going to catch you on the next video.